seeing what happened here coming off of turn 4. Pretty sure it was the 18 of Brian Beach. It was. He gets very loose coming off the corner down into the 19 of Matt Horton. 78 of Brian Pizzakemi with nowhere to go here. The one car, Brandon Bennett, he gets into it as well. The 13 car gets clear. 81 gets clear. Because here is Brian Chambers. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style with the burnout. Oh, Sturgill sliding in to celebrate as well. Alright guys, with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. Make sure you guys stay tuned. A little bit of a surprise, but he gained 12 positions. Started down in some bumhole position right towards the back and ended up finishing... Oh geez, I can't even find you.
That puts on this league. That was a hell of a season. Thomas didn't have his most dominating season.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for round number 1, race number 1 here from the Chicagoland Speedway of the 3rd season of 2021 here in the Output Racing League. And it looks like our drivers are just getting ready to do a pit party here. So we'll join them on track with the action here very shortly. Of course, as per last week, we are back in the next gen cars, which is always going to throw up some excitement. It looks like everyone's just starting to file out onto the track now. Gadio Hernandez, the 24, Franco Isaacson, also the 21 of Brian Chambliss there. A lot of different liveries that we're going to have to get used to now. Thankfully, Frank is always a constant with the Autism Awareness. Autism Awareness also the sponsor of the Hard Charger Award. Jaron Sanchez, Kyle Kraus, 64 of Jonas Marquez there as well. Autism Awareness is the Hard Charger sponsor as well. I did actually forget to change those graphics, so we're going to be doing a hot change on them when it comes to it. Looks like the field is ready for the pit party here. And they're off and racing. Sanchez off of the pole. He also experienced that clean air in his face, as he probably won't get it in the race. So far we have 19 people in the race session here altogether, myself included. Strength of the field 26-23. Still waiting on a few more people to show up, like one Christian Budd, who is not actually in the race circle yet. So 18 drivers plus myself in the server. We're looking at the 61 of TJ Crampton there. 3 wide behind him is the 12 Matt Burch. Oh! Sanchez and the 4 has been turned. Frank's involved. See the 13 of Masia also getting spun there. Matt Horton. I think Sam Niederhelm was also involved. I think that all started with contact from the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez there. So, funny, funky little way to start the day. Jonas still going with his damage. Got Austin Hakes just in front of him. Currently, Brian Pizzicemi sitting on top of the timetable here for practice. John Lozelle P2, Matt Horton 3rd, Jonas Marquez 4th, and the man on the screen, the 88, Jonathan Hernandez, currently P5. Now this is a little bit of a crosser. Oh, there's contact. And that was Necco between Hakes and Crampton. Pizzicemi's gone, and I think that's Matt Burgess as well. It's gone. Actually, no, Burgess just came into it. Must have been Jonas. So this could be a preview into what we could see happen. Ryan Chambliss trying to work that slightly higher line. Apparently the time I got in a little bit of practice I did is holding up pretty alright. Currently P8. And my time obviously doesn't count. If you want a full rundown of the top 10, currently Pizzakemi, Crampton, Lizelle, Horton, Hernandez, Marquez, Hakes, Campbell, Champo, and Chambliss as your top 10. Looks like we're just left really these four from the original pit party. Chambliss just sneaking over the line in front of Champo there. All these cars a little bit beaten, battered and bruised. There's a 6 of Bell Wells. Starting to make a name for herself here in the Output Racing League. Just in front of her you got the 5 of Mark Pentecoff, 15 of Ken Campbell, and also the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi, Jack Daniels' car. And there goes Mark and Brian going for a spin. And Ken Campbell also might have gotten a little bit of contact, but Bell Wells managing to get through all that with no contact at all. Now looking at Chambliss and Champo, expecting these guys to have a few big battles as the season progresses, because they're very similar on pace at the moment. The TJ Crampton just off in the distance behind these guys. He's just hoping to catch back up to them by the looks of things. As we have just under 20 minutes to go in this practice. Something to the tune of about 18 minutes left to go. Campbell's practicing a pit entry there. I reckon pit entry is going to be a very important thing to practice with this package, because it's a little bit different to how it used to be for the old gen cars. There's the 50 of Christian Budd making his presence felt. Obviously not with his first lap there. 30.850, only good enough for 19th at the moment. He's going to need another pit party to try and lower that a little bit, honestly. We heard last week that Christian's actually a little bit worried about this package. He's not going to be as dominant as what he has been in the previous seasons. Some more cars start filing out of the pits now. Christian Budd still sitting down in 19th. Strength of field with the 19 drivers plus myself, 27.09. Not bad at all, honestly. You know, if you're doing well, then you're doing well. Frank goes for a move up on the inside of Chris Champeau. There's a 60 of Kyle Kraus there in the back. He's trying to pick a lane to follow. Looks like he's going to be following Frank through there on the inside. And in fact, he's going to pit. Maybe these two fight it out on track for themselves. Christian Budd blocking off the inside lane from the 5 of Mark Cup. There's a 61 TJ Crampton back out on track. And Mark pulling into the pits, same too with the 50 of Christian Budd. In fact, a lot of people pulling into the pits. I think we might be getting ready for another pit party here. A little bit of road rage there as well between Chris Champeau and TJ Crampton coming into the pits. And TJ also trying to turn the 5 of Pentecoff. The 78 of Pizzakemi going for a little burnout. Because we know he's not going to be able to do that in the race. Everyone starts smiling out onto the track now. Getting ready for the second pit party of the practice. And honestly, I think these pit parties are a really good idea because it's all about just working your way through the draft and, you know, working with other cars. Sanchez says, I'm going to start at the back this time. I started in the front for the last one. They get all lined up coming out of turn 4. It's going to be the 60 of Kyle Kraus and the 13 of Travis Massey at the front row. They're off and racing. Love the sound of these cars. Absolutely. Oh, we're almost going 4 wide there, going through turn 4. Pizzacami just trying to look for some space to put that car in. Matt Horton sitting in front of Pizzacami there. Still 3 wide they go. Oh, there's a touch. That was Ken Campbell. Anarchy has ensued afterwards. Burgess and Lizelle involved in that one. We go back into the pack. Currently looking at the 24 Frank Isaacson in the Autism Awareness car. As you can see, Christian Budd not exactly carving his way through the field. As there was almost a situation there coming out of turn 2. And around goes Horton off the nose of Pizzacami. I think Horton actually squeezed him down. Dan Niederhelm, fantastic job there to not hit Matt. Oh, there's a crash. Austin Hakes involved in that one. Didn't see the other two that were involved. I think that might have been Crampton and Kraus. In fact, there was Crampton just crawling along the wall there. Topping the nose of Frank Isaacson was Christian Budd there. I think Christian was just trying to make sure he wasn't going to be in the draft of Chambliss. Chambliss trying to make that high line work. I don't think he's going to quite be able to get it done, honestly. A little bit bit and barge here in the practice session, honestly. We're getting 6.5 minutes left in the practice now. About 13 laps, maybe just a little bit less. Don't forget, guys, you can check out all the replays of all the previous collections of races over on the YouTube channel. youtube.com/C/Aussie Sim Commentator. You can see the entire broadcasted history of this this league, all except for their very, very first season, which was unbroadcasted. I honestly think their first season started up before I was even in iRacing. But season 2 and onwards, you know, I was doing the commentating for this league, and I'm very happy to do it. These guys have been a solid group of guys through all the years that I've been commentating for them. And they make sure they pay me well. Don't ask for much from these guys, because, you know, they usually put on some pretty entertaining races. They allow us into their lives here to do these broadcasts. And, you know, they reward us with some great racing, some big crashes as the two of Chris Champeau goes for a slide. Oh, and all the way into the wall. Oh, whammo as well from the 5 of Mark Pentacuff. Yeah, they allow us into their homes, they allow us into their minds. And, you know, they just allow us to have a little bit of fun with them every now and then too. So make sure, if you are entertained from what you see here, give a follow. And, you know, just have some fun. Now I've got about 3.5 minutes left in the practice session here, so about 2 minutes time. we'll be going to a commercial break while these guys go into qualifying. Current top 10 is Pizzakemi, Crampton, Lizelle, Horton, Hernandez, Marquez, Hakes. Okay, I don't think that's right. It might be. Yeah, so Pizzakemi, Crampton, Lizelle, Horton, Hernandez, Marquez, Hakes, Campbell, Pentacuff, and Champeau. Christian Budd only managing 14th quick so far. So that could be a little bit concerning for him. As the time is ticking down here in practice. As we're now down to the 2-minute mark left in the session. Only a couple cars on track. I can see Chris Champeau, Jonas Marquez, Austin Hakes and Ken Campbell, and that is about it. So everyone quite satisfied with the way they've run so far as the 13 of Travis Massier starts coming back out onto the track the last couple of minutes. Alright, now we're in the final minute of practice. We're going to go to a commercial break here. When we come back, we will see how the grid is going to be formed here for the Autism Awareness 100, the season opening race, right here from the Chicagoland Speedway on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. You make sure you guys stay tuned, and we'll see you very shortly. Alrighty, guys, we are back for the Autism Awareness 100 here from the Chicagoland Speedway, live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And no surprises, the pole sitter is going to be the 50 car of Mr. Christian Budd. P2 is going to go the way of the 15er, Ken Campbell. Surprisingly, what a great qualifying effort by him. John Lozelle in the 23 is going to be out P3. Chris Champeau in the 2 car going to be out of P4. P5 is going to be the 88 car of Jonathan Hernandez. P6 is the 28 of Austin Hakes. P7 is the 60 car of Kyle Kraus. P8 the 21 of Brian Chambliss. P9 league owner and operator, and the man that I stole the name of for Grand Theft Auto roleplay, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. P10 the 13 of Travis Massier. And the rest of the grid is going to be TJ Crampton in 11th, Sam Niederhelm 12th, Mark Pidgecock 13th, Matt Burgess 14th, Jonas Marquez in 15th, Frank Isaacson in P16, Matt Horton 17, Brian Pizzakemi 18, Bell Wells in 19th, and James Watson will be starting out of P20 off the back of the grid. So we're just waiting for all the drivers to get onto the grid. That way we can start rolling off. And here we go. That's 120 laps around the Chicagoland Speedway. And if last week is anything to go by, when we had the shootout race, things could get pretty crazy here. Pace car peels off for the first time, Season 3, 2021. The green flag is out, and we are underway for the Autism Awareness 100 right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And already you can see the 50 of Christian Budd taking the early lead. John Lozelle in the 23 swiftly taking over P2. Ken Campbell seems to have stalled out a little bit there on the outside line, falling like a rock at the moment. See, just got a big gaggle of cars as there's a challenge for P2 now. Jonathan Hernandez in the 88 getting up underneath John Lozelle, taking away that position. Kyle Kraus almost going with him. You see Kyle Kraus there in the 60, just moving up next to John Lozelle now. You see the 2 of Chris Champeau, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez there as well, and so too the 61 of TJ Crampton. Ooh, a little bit of contact there actually between the 60 car and the 23. Kyle Kraus and John Lozelle is now the 2 of Chris Champeau, takes it 3 wide on the entry to turn 1. See the 4 Jared Sanchez there getting a little bit loose as well. Chris Champeau is probably going to start falling like a rock because that outside line does not work at the moment. Although he's staying with it with the draft on the backstretch. It looks like Ken Campbell just continuing to not really do much here at the moment. The side draft as well will also be greatly affecting him. Oh, I think I saw a little bit of a wall tap there from one of the white cars in the background. Not sure which one that one is. I think that might have been the 5 mark Pentacuff actually. And you see the 3 wide continuing to go here in the middle of the pack. Currently focused on the 15 of Ken Campbell, the one who is dropping like a rock. You see they've all gone back to 2x2 formation now with the 28 of Austin Hakes not wanting to sit there behind Ken. Saw him falling down the order and wants to get in front of him. He's got the 64 of Jonas Marquez up here towards the front. That's great to see for Jonas. Jonas actually the sponsor for today's event. Looks like for the moment everyone getting through just fine. James Watson looks like he started out of the pits in the 39 car, but he's all the way in 20th. He is literally just the back straight in front of our leaders. Yeah, tight little battle here in the mid-packs. There's Chris Champeau, Brian Chambliss, the 13 of Travis Masia. Got Ken Campbell there in the 15 car, the 5 of Mark Pentacuff, and Austin Hakes in the 28. These guys trying to vie for some decent positions here towards the top 10. Definitely not going to be easy for these guys. They'll see what they can do. The draft package on these cars is so much different to what the current gen car is. You see the very front of the pack there, everyone was all single filed out. We go focus on the 60 of Kyle Kraus. Actually, you know what, we're going to go to John Lozelle. We're going to have a look out of his windshield here at the action ahead. Into the gyro cam we go. See how these guys are all just trying to stay in a line there. Stay line astern, and they're pulling away from the second pack. They got a 1.5 second gap back to Jonas Marquez, who is the leader of the second pack. You can already see on display the clean racing that the Output Racing League here provides. If you'd like to join the Output Racing League, then you can go to outputracing.com, follow the prompts there to apply for the league. Let's see if we can find some side-by-side action in this race. And it looks like we're getting some there towards the back of this group a little bit. 78 of Brian Pizzakemi and the 66 of Sam Niederhelm. These guys battling over 17th and 18th at the moment. Belle Wells just behind as well. She is currently in a 19th position in the 6th car. And it looks like everyone has just single filed out all over the place now. We're just going to set the camera to focus on crashes here real quick. We see a battle forming just in front of the 2 of Chris Champeau, the 33 of Matt Horton. The 21 of Brian Chambliss trying to provide help to Champeau, trying to get him ahead of Horton. Horton who's stuck on the outside all by himself. There's no help out there. Chris Champeau's just moved himself into the 8th position with that move. Ken Campbell now wrapping up the top 10 in the 10th position. There's the 24, Frank Isaacson in the back. Looks like he's starting to try and make a move as well. Not sure how on purpose that move was or not. He's looking to the inside of the 13 of Travis Massia. It looks like he might actually get that position too. That's a 2 of Christian. No, that's the 21 of Brian Chandler starting to drop back in this pack. 15 of Ken Campbell looking for a move on Chris Champeau now. Matt Horton fighting back as well. He's going to hook up to the tail of the 15 car. Look at that fucking tandem drafting right there. That was incredible. And that is my one for the broadcast. This 20 car field is definitely going to start spicing things up. We're going to go have a look at the 39 of James Watson, who was almost about to get swallowed up by the chasing pack. Let's see if we can jump on his rear camera here. Have a look at the pack as they're coming to him. And he's staying nice and high for the leaders to come past. That's a great job there by Watson. You see the leaders just going in underneath. Kyle Kraus not wanting to go into the apron with the rest of the pack there. Be a little bit interesting. Did a 4 of Jaron Sanchez there as well. As they're going 3 wide with the lap car. These guys at the back of the pack starting to get a little bit racy by the looks of things. I'm not sure how intentional that was. They all started going 2 by 2 when they caught up to the lap car. Unfortunately, James Watson last place at the moment in 20th due to starting in the pits. But if we were to get a caution right now, he would get the wave around Lucky Dog. Lucky Dog wave around even. We go back to the second pack now. It looks like the 2. Chris Champeau is now taking over the lead of this pack. These guys still battling it out pretty hard at the moment. You see the 64 Jonas Marquez is now the one stuck on the outside. Frank Isaacson in the back there making moves as well. He is on the inside of the 12 of Matt Burgess. A big happy birthday to Matt Burgess, actually. I just found out today that was his birthday. So happy birthday, Matt Burgess. You old cunt. He is one of the oldest drivers we have in the field. We're very lucky to have him here, actually. He usually only does 1 late night race a week. And he chose to do this one. So thank you very much, Matt Burgess. I hope you have a happy birthday, mate. This second pack still trying to get themselves sorted out in a way where they could try and catch this front pack. This front pack is just absolutely G-O-N-E gone. We'll go look at the 23 of John Lozelle, who's on the back of the pack here, just in front of James Watson, who is a lap down, as we said before. This front pack is just all taking it easy. They're all single filed out. They're just growing that gap and growing it. They now have 2.5 seconds back to Chris Champeau in 7th. I think this is probably as good a reason as anything to crank it up here a little bit, so make sure you guys enjoy the sights and sounds of these cars as they come around this super fast high banks 1.5 mile oval. deliver. Hope everyone is enjoying the spectacle that is the Output Racing League here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. With this race presented by Autism Awareness. And that front pack is definitely growing their gap. It looks like we might actually have lost one from the second draft pack here. The 6 of Bell Wells. She has definitely fallen well and truly behind that second pack now. So she would definitely be one who is hoping for a caution here to try and get caught back up. As we go back to focusing on the birthday boy, Matt Burgess. Just behind him, the 21 of Brian Chambliss as well. And it looks like this second pack has finally got themselves organised enough that they're not losing time to the front. In fact, it's very possible that they might be trying to claw some of this time back. It's now down to 2 seconds between Lizelle and Champeau. Almost a quarter of the way through this race now. I do know one thing's for sure, this front back's definitely not hoping that they get a caution, because they want to be trying to maintain this lead that they have over the second pack right now. Because with the way this draft package is, they want to pull away and stay away from everyone else, because everyone else will be brought right back into it if we do get a caution. I think what we're going to do now, my apologies. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go for a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we'll be going to these guys, going to a time where these guys are going to start doing some green flag pit stops. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Chicagoland Speedway for the Autism Awareness 100 here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And we're still following this battle in the second pack, as it looks like we're starting to get a little bit of a gap here forming between Matt Burgess and Jonas Marquez. It's only out to 0.3 of a second at the moment. But, you know, that could close up very quickly, and it could also extend very quickly. All depends on how these guys are starting the race and how their tyres are doing, honestly. Because whoever's out in the front is going to have the best tyres right now. And if you're second on back, then your tyres are going to start heating up and struggling. But yeah, these guys definitely, been in the draft for a long time. You start to get that aero push going, which is something that a lot of NASCAR commentators hate to say, but they're getting that aero push because of how aero dependent these cars have become. And that's going to be burning up their right fronts a lot. It'll be interesting to see how they go with it, honestly. Looking like for the most part, everyone is handling it all right. Just be lifting every now and then just to make sure that they're trying to protect that left front a little, that right front a little bit, sorry. We go around circles to the left, not the right. And we're definitely seeing a gap forming here now in front of Matt Burgess. 0.5 of a second between Matt Burgess and Brian Chambliss in the 21. The Burgess could be starting to struggle with his tyres here a little bit now. There's a few more who's dropped off the back of this pack. See the 78 of Pizzakemi in space of his own, the 5 of Mark Pentecup, and of course the 6 of Bell Wells, who was off at the back before. Now if we go have a look at the front pack here, we're going to focus in on league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez. These guys still looking pretty good, still pretty uniform, and I'm actually surprised James Watson has been able to keep up with them. He did do a lot of running by himself, so his tyres should be in a pretty good shape. The whole not being in the drafting definitely helps out, especially if it's over multiple laps. You see now the 50 of Christian Budd been shafted out of the lead. That has now given the lead to Jonathan Hernandez. These guys at the front of the pack starting to get a little bit racy now. As I can see, the 2 of Chris Champeau has peeled off and gone for an early pit stop. And maybe the pit stop cycle coming a little bit sooner than I thought it was. This could end up being a 2-stop race. I think maybe Chris might have made a little bit of a mistake here, pitting all by himself. Means he's going to have no draft help when he comes back out of the pits. Now, you definitely want to handle the green flag pit stop cycles like you would at a super speedway. You want to be pitting with at least one other person. That way you can hook up together and get the draft going to keep you up to speed. As you see the 50 Christian Budd now trying to battle back, trying to get that first place back from Jonathan Hernandez. Hernandez, who likes to lead from the front. And as you can see, there's also a little battle going on just behind these guys a little bit between Crampton and Lozelle. Crampton on the outside lane, Lozelle on the inside. It looks like Crampton just taking over that 4th place from Lozelle. slotting just in behind the 60 of Carl Kraus. It looks like the two of Chris Champeau was able to get hooked up with the guys who lost the pack earlier. They've been Pizzacani, Petticup and Bell Wells. So he does have a little bit of drafting help now. In fact, he's carving his way through that little pack at the back I can see on my little mini-map. He'll be wanting to lead them from the front and see if he can get them to help him to gain some time over the rest of the field. We're going to go back to setting the camera to focus on crashes, see where we end up. And we're definitely looking at the second pack here. And all their gaps have closed back up again, so it's now one more big pack again. And they are catching up to this front pack ever so slightly. It's not much, but it's just enough that they're clawing a little bit of this time back. It seems everyone choosing to just run single file here. It looks like the 6 of Bell Wells starting to slow up on the track. I think she's going to come into the pits now, and she is. And she's going to get some new shoes on that race car of hers. Oh, it looked like Austin Hakes there might have caught the apron a little bit. Just shot up the track ever so slightly through that corner. Could have also been a little bit of aero push. Now it looks like that front pack's starting to battle out a bit now. I've got to find the right person to choose. There's a 61 TJ Cranton. Looks like the 50 of Christian Budd. Getting shuffled back a little bit more now. Kyle Kraus leading the way. I see the 88 Jonathan Hernandez has dropped back a fair bit. I think these guys are going to try and push it to halfway. I'm not sure how they're going to do with doing that, as the gap to the second pack's actually back down to a second and a half now. So whatever shenanigans ensued there for these guys, they lost a whole half a second to that second pack. Yeah, Christian Budd in the 50 there. One of the most dominant champions we've ever had. And by all appearances, he's definitely not going to have it all his own way this season. Very unfamiliar car to him. And with the way that the draft package is set up, he's definitely not going to have the advantage. But qualifying will still be very important. We know that Christian Budd is definitely one hell of a qualifier. As we're nearing the halfway point in this race. I was going to say, I am actually really impressed with James Watson holding on to the draft of these guys. He has been seriously just sitting in behind this pack the entire time since they got around him. And it looks like it might actually be go time here at the front of this pack. Kyle Kraus trying to extend the gap between himself and TJ Crampton. In fact, between himself and John Lozelle, who snuck back up into second. I didn't see that happen. Because I'm an idiot. TJ Crampton now back to third. As we are edging ever closer to the halfway point. It's only 2.5 or 3.5 laps to go to the halfway point. As I finish one of my undisclosed energy drinks. Trying to get that caffeine back because there's too much blood in my caffeine system. The gap's now gone back out to 2 seconds. So the second pack's starting to lose it again now a little bit. The 15 of Ken Campbell has come into the pits. So too does the 78 of Brian Pizzicami. At the moment, James Watson's still in the box seat to take the Lucky Dog waiver round if we were to get a caution. As now the 50 of Christian Budd comes into the pits. He's pitting just before the halfway mark. And will that be the straw that broke the camel's back? Will we start seeing a flurry of pit stop activity now? The green flag pit stops is usually one of the most dangerous but also exhilarating times in the race. As I think our leader now, the 60 Kyle Kraus, is coming into the pits. I think the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez is joining him. Quite a few people from the second pack is joining. There's the 64 of Jonas, the 24 of Frank, 33 Matt Horton, the 66 Sam Niederhelm as well. Our front pack's now gone down to 3. Lozelle, Crampton and Sanchez. And here comes Lozelle and Sanchez into the pits. Crampton going on one more lap. And James Watson coming into the pits with these two as well. And there's some of the people from the second pack. Got Chambliss, Burgess. And I think Bell Wells coming back in as well. But TJ Crampton in the 61 is the man leading the way at the moment. He's the only car to not pit yet. And I think he's out of fuel. That's right on board. Oh no, he's still got fuel. You can still hear the engine. Just the way that he came down into the pits there was a bit concerning. But now Chris Champeau is going to assume the lead of this race. And he's going to do it with a 3.5 second gap over Christian Budd. Now Chris will have to pit again, I do believe. So he's trying a two-stop strategy of just send it and think about the consequences later. As TJ Crampton starts coming out of the pits, he's probably going to fall back to 4th here. And it looks like that's exactly where he's gone. But yeah, Chris Champeau leading the way with his slightly scuffed right side of the car there. He's gotten into the wall at some point. And he now only has a 2-second lead over Christian Budd, who actually has help from Jonathan Hernandez there. So we're going to start focusing on crashes. Here's 21 and Brian Chambliss. He's starting to fall out of the top 10. Involved in a big battle here. In fact, he's trying to take away 9th from Ken Campbell on the outside line. Ken Campbell on the 15 there. The 21 is Brian Chambliss. And Chambliss is going to lose out on the top 10 here to Matt Burgess in the 12. Got the 13 Travis Massier there as well. And Burgess now getting up underneath Ken Campbell. Will Burgess make a charge here for P8? Just Austin Hakes left in front of him. And it looks like the two of Chris Champeau has actually been swallowed by the front pack now. Or at least they've caught up to him. As I said, I'm pretty sure Chris Champeau still has to pit at least one more time. But I'm not sure what the fuel load's like, and I'm not sure how they're going to race. Now here goes Christian Budd to the inside. He's going to take back that lead. And that one move has just opened up the can of worms for these guys to battle it out a little bit. Chris Champeau is going to start falling off the pace here a little bit. I mean, honestly, the short stop strategy does work at some places, but I'm not sure it's going to work with this package. This package is just way too draft dependent. You want to be quick, you got to be in the draft. And if you're going to undercut, you better hope you have help. That's the way it looks like it's going to be. did see Brian Chambers pull off that kind of a victory with the current gen of cars, which was a fantastic victory at that. He also got very close to a win doing that as well. But yeah, the gap is back out to just over 2 seconds now to Christian Poe from Jaron Sanchez. And then it's another further 4 seconds from Champo to Matt Burgess. This front package is absolutely hauling as now the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi goes a lap down. Definitely some very intense racing going on here. It might not look like it from the outside. It might look like they're just single filed out, taking it easy. But there is so much chess going on in the minds of these drivers, especially Christian Budd. He is on the absolute defensive right now. And it's just little nuances that show you this. Like you see, he's trying to cut down the corner harder than these guys behind him. He's just a little bit more away from the wall. Similarly, John Lazelle just poking his nose out to the inside there a little bit of Christian Budd. Just trying to get into his mirrors a little bit, get into his head. I'm still here just behind you. If you slip up once, I'm going under you. There's these little nuances that happen throughout a race that a lot of people just don't get to pick up on. And it's just really exciting to see it happening here. Such is the nature of this package right now. Now, I'm sure before the start of next year they will start tweaking on this package and just make it a little bit different. But at the moment, this is just the way it is. So it looks like Mark Pentecoff was about to go a lap down. And Pentecoff was actually pretty impressive in the shootout race last week, came to the 24 of Frank Isaacson. It just goes to show that this package is going to bring some of the guys that usually just roll around in the mid to backfield. They're going to bring them up the front a little bit. I mean, obviously not so for Mark Pentecoff this race, but there could be a track where it suits his driving style a little bit more, and he could do very well. As now this front pack catching up to the 5 of Mark Pentecoff, and we immediately go back to the second pack. Ken Campbell in the 15. He's currently in 12th. Frank Isaacson just behind him. It looks like James Watson just pulling out early there to allow everyone to go around him on the outside, strangely. Let's see how Mark gets along with the front pack here. And it looks like with the leading pack here coming up behind Mark, Mark's found a second wind. I don't think he's intentionally trying to stay in their way. I think it's just he's getting an extra speed boost from these guys being behind him. I know Christian Budd will not be liking this at all because it'll be making him burn up his right front that little bit more. As the two of Christian Pro has come back into the pits. Yeah, Christian Budd definitely would not be digging this situation with Mark Pentecoff being in front. It'll probably help him from a fuel saving standpoint, not exactly from a racing standpoint. And these guys are spending a lot of time at full throttle around this track. And, you know, that's a lot of force going into the right front tire, especially when you dive it into the corners. And then there's also the aero tight that he's going to be feeling from Mark Pentecoff being in front of him. In saying that, Mark absolutely not doing anything wrong here. He's maintaining his line, he's running his race, and he's just trying to stay on the lead lap. And honestly, you can't ask for much more than that. As it looks like Bell Wells has come back into the pits again as well. And here we go, the moves are starting to be made. Gadio Jonathan Hernandez getting a little bit antsy there in the back. And he's going to get all the way up underneath the 50 of Christian Budd. And he's trying to bring Kyle Kraus with him. Lizelle and Christian stuck on the outside line there now, stuck behind the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. Now's the time when Mark should be getting out of the way. And he is doing exactly that right now. As the new leader is now Jonathan Hernandez from Kyle Kraus. The 61 of TJ Crampton there as well in third. And that's going to put Christian Budd all the way back into P6. That is definitely a fall from grace if I ever seen one. Here comes now John Lizelle to the inside of TJ. TJ trying to use that momentum from the outside line and the draft on the back straight here. I don't think he's going to quite have enough, but Lizelle is going to stay underneath him here and possibly take that position away. The only thing that TJ could really do here is pinch right down on the side of John Lizelle, but I don't think that's going to work now with the 4 of Jaron Sanchez looking to take away 4th. And it looks like the action is just starting to heat up here, which is definitely what we want to see. And a little bit of battling here has actually brought second pack a little bit closer too. The gap was out to about 2.5 seconds. It's now back down to just under 2 seconds. But we're going to go for another commercial break here. When we come back, we will be going to the end. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We are back with the Autism Awareness 100 here from the Chicagoland Speedway, and the action at the front has definitely been heating up as we were in the ad break. John Lazelle went up the inside of Jonathan Hernandez to try and take the lead away, couldn't quite get there. Now as you can see, we've got a battle for third going on between TJ Crampton and the 60 of Kyle Kraus. These guys starting to jump up on the intensity now with only 29 laps to go. In fact, make that 28 and a half as they come along the back straight here. And all this battling at the front is bringing the second pack back into this. Gap is now less than a second between Christian Budd and Travis Massia. It's even smaller considering that the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi is on the back of this front pack. But now everyone who was on the lead lap is back in this race. Besides, I think that's the 24 of Frank Isaacson, the 15 of Ken Campbell, who are well and truly at the back. Wow, what a move there. From John Lazelle, almost taking out the back of Jonathan Hernandez. Looks like TJ Crampton won that little battle, takes over the third place. Lazelle looking absolutely anywhere he can to try and make an advantage. Oh, he's getting loose coming out turn 2. Started to push it a little bit too hard. Here comes TJ Crampton now up on the inside, and same to Kyle Kraus in the 60. The intensity has definitely started to pick up. All of our top 10 are within 2 seconds of each other. Here comes Sharon Sanchez now looking for 4th position on the inside of John Lazelle. The 50 of Christian Budd back in this battle, zone 2, the 12 of Matt Burgess. 21 of Brian Chambliss is there. So this has definitely opened up a can of worms for these guys. TJ Crampton almost squeezed all the way onto the apron by Hernandez as they were battling side by side into turn 1. Hernandez taking the very, very defensive lines here. You see the 50 of Christian Budd trying to make that outside line work on Kyle Kraus. And it looks like he is going to make that work. You see Crampton there being very smart. He's taking a slightly wider arc going into the corners. He doesn't want to be right in the tail doesn't want to be right in the tire marks of Jonathan Hernandez on corner entry. That way he can actually turn into the corner. If you're right up behind someone, then all the air gets taken off your nose. Oh, there was almost contact there as Hernandez defending that very inside line. TJ Crampton will be getting a little bit frustrated by Hernandez and that kind of extreme blocking. Oh, as I think the 12 of Matt Burgess just got loose. And there's shenanigans ensuing. The 21 of Chambliss has just fallen by the wayside. There's no caution. We're still green. We're going back to this battle for the lead, and it's been an overtake. TJ Crampton has taken the lead. We would go back and have a look at it, but the battle is still on. Hernandez still right there in P2. I wasn't kidding when I said that the intensity had picked up. Now it's only our top 5 in contention for the win. Sanchez in P6 has dropped 3 seconds to this front pack. Hernandez now backing out of it. Hernandez went for a really wide line there and decided to back out of it, dropped to the back of this pack. I'm not sure if that was a smart move with only 21 to go. And now it looks like things are just starting to cool down a little bit here at the front. Looks like everyone might just be resetting, getting ready for the final 20 laps here. I just can't believe Jonathan Hernandez dropping all the way to the back, and in fact it looks like he might be dropping back even further than just the back of these guys. Possibly maybe a little bit of aero damage there on Hernandez, I'm not sure how. And Sanchez now just 3 seconds back behind this pack. John Lazelle looking racy once more. Looking like he wants to try and take some of that lead away from TJ Crampton. Crampton trying to do everything he can to stay in front of Lazelle there. Even sneakily just taking away his line every now and then, just to give him a little bit of that dirty air, trying to unsettle the car of Lazelle. As Lazelle now dives to the inside of turn 3. Oh, side-to-side contact. I think Lazelle started to come up the track a little bit. Oh, now that's become a little bit awkward. 3 wide. They go down the front stretch. Hernandez just sitting in behind it. He doesn't want to borrow this. Still 3 wide going into turn 1. Now Christian Budd and Kyle Kraus get around the 23 of Lazelle. And Lazelle's going to fight back on the outside of Christian Budd. In fact, everyone's going to fight back on the outside of Christian Budd. And this has given TJ Crampton a little bit of breathing room, so he can reset a little bit, refocus after that contact. But now he's going to have to worry about Kyle Kraus getting a big run on him with this little bit of an air gap that they got. If Jonathan Lazelle got onto the back of Kraus here and really gave him a good tandem draft, they could fly right around TJ Crampton. It looks like Kyle Kraus is just too occupied with trying to stay in the draft of Crampton. Lazelle, the only one to take the apron on the front stretch this time. I'm not sure that's a smart move if you're not really in the draft. Kind of lose a little bit of time doing that. As the racing will now start to intensify once more. We only have 13 to go. Still TJ Crampton from Kyle Kraus. John Lozelle looking very racy. Hernandez and Christian Budd, 4th and 5th. I don't want to look away from these guys at the front because this is where the battling is going to happen with 10 to go. These are the guys who are putting it all out on the table, trying to get that result. And honestly, at the moment, it looks like TJ Crampton also going to be taking home the Hard Charger Award, as long as he doesn't lose any positions. In fact, I think even if he does lose 1 or 2, he'd still take it home. We'll have to double check that after the race. As we now have just 9 laps left to run. See the 5 Mark Pentacup decided to pull it into the pits once more. And John Lozelle all over the tail of Kyle Kraus. Well, Kyle Kraus was all over the tail of TJ Crampton. This is where all the Tim Tams are going to be on the table now. Going to be a mad rush to get the most. And there's something like only 11 Tim Tams per packet. That's just to put it in perspective. Here comes John Lozelle now. What a move that was to the inside of Kyle Kraus. Very last minute, very much a dive bomb, but very much a very good move. Now let's see if he can maintain that and take that 2nd position away. And this is where TJ is going to be a little bit vulnerable as well, because TJ taking that wider arc into the corner. He's going to leave that open, the inside open for anyone behind. But what this is actually doing right now is Kraus and Lozelle being side by side. This is allowing TJ a little bit of breathing room. He doesn't have to push so hard to maintain his lead at the moment. And he's definitely going to be pushing as hard as he possibly can as Kyle Kraus now retakes that 2nd place. But with them two going side by side like that, they slow each other down, which immensely helps out TJ Crampton. The Kyle Kraus now closing up to the back of Crampton once more. As we now only have 5 laps left to run in this race. It's still anyone's race in this top 5. See Lozelle trying to go for the ultra high line, get all the momentums. Kraus sliding just up in front of him. Now Lozelle going to the inside on the back straight, looking for a move going into turn 3. And he could actually have P2 here. In fact, he does have P2. He got it. And now he's got a slide job on Kyle Kraus. Kyle Kraus coming back to the inside now. Kyle Kraus retakes the 2nd position. That was an awesome little sequence of events, and it looks like Lozelle's going to try the same move again. This time just couldn't quite get the same drive off of turn 2 that he did the previous lap. And that's hampered him here a little bit. He's going to go high again in 3 and 4. Trying to use that bubble of air off the wall to give him some extra momentum. We're also catching up to the lap down car of Sam Niederhelm. 3 laps to go. And as I said, the intensity has definitely picked up. It looked like a little bit of a balk there by TJ Crampton. Now here comes Lozelle, using the advantage of the balk on Kyle Kraus to come underneath and take away that 2nd place once more. Here comes Jonathan Hernandez and Christian Budd as well. Lozelle trying to keep that outside line going, use the momentum to maintain his speed on the straights. Don't think it's going to work here too much, although Kyle Kraus being right in behind him like this is definitely going to help him with 2 laps to go. TJ Crampton seeing these guys battling 3 wide now in his mirror. He's going, this is great, boys, keep it up. Hernandez pulls out of that, slots back into 4th. It's Kyle Kraus back up on the inside of John Lozelle now. John Lozelle trying to hope the momentum's going to carry him. And it does. Gets him back into the 3rd position. As Frank Isaacson also here just in front of these guys. He's going to pull down to the inside, get right out of the way. Here comes Jonathan Hernandez now. Here comes this snaking from TJ Crampton. Christian Budd's stuck. He doesn't know what to do. Oh, contact. Hernandez and Lizelle have contact. That's going to give Christian Budd third at the line. What an incredible race that was. I couldn't even believe we were on the last lap. I was just too enthralled with the racing. TJ Crampton with the win, Kyle Kraus P2, Christian Budd third, John Lizelle fourth, and Jonathan Hernandez in fifth. James Sanchez coming home in P6 there. But here is our winner, TJ Crampton. What a way to kick off the season. You can hear he's happy. He's hitting the limiter as he's going around the track. And here's the burnout to celebrate. We're going to go to a commercial break now. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, it is now time for our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award. And today's Hard Charger also happens to be today's winner. And of course, it is Mr. TJ Crampton. TJ, what an incredible race, mate. Looked like that was a very intense last 30 odd laps. How was the race for you?
The first half of the race was just kind of saving fuel, single file. I was able to go out longer than everyone else with my fuel. Barely though. I'd ran out of fuel. My car started sputtering on the backstretch, and luckily I was just able to keep my speed up enough. And then, yeah, like I said, the last 30 laps was crazy. We were talking about how that second pack was catching us, and then all of a sudden, a few people thought it was time to go, and I followed them, and it was just pretty crazy from there, especially the last two laps because I was trying to block Kyle as much as I could.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that last 30 laps was just a very intense game of chess. You know, it was all about attack and defend, finding the right time to attack and the right time to defend. But we did actually notice that you went one lap longer than everyone else in the pit stop cycle. What was the strategy behind that?
Just if you go longer than everyone else, you just take less fuel and you have a better chance of making it at the end. And I was just able to save just enough, and I had like point 0.7. Some people were saying they had point 0.3, so a few people were cutting a little bit more close than I was. So um, I was just trying to save fuel, manage my stuff. The first run, my tires were pretty good, and the second run, I felt they were pretty good as well. I was able to hold off everyone, so they must have been pretty decent. But yeah, the fuel was a big part in today's race.
All right, mate. Now let's look forward onto next week. And next week we're going to be going to Watkins Glen for our first and I'm pretty sure only road course of the season. So what's the feeling like for you heading into Watkins so early in the season?
Pretty excited. Love road courses, so it should be fun. Hopefully, I can put on a good performance there.
All right, TJ, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here tonight?
I want to thank everyone at Gem E Racing, my team owner and teammate Matthew Van Gelder. He's in the league, but he is my team owner, so I want to say hi to him. I want to thank you for broadcasting as always, and of course, Jaron and everyone who puts on the league.
All right, thank you very much for coming out, TJ. Congratulations on kicking off the season with the first win of the season. Hopefully, you can carry this momentum into Watkins next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, that was TJ Cranton, today's winner and Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to our second place getter. And today's second place getter, just one number below TJ as far as car numbers goes, and one number below him as far as the finishing order. Of course, the 60 car of Mr. Kyle Kraus. Kyle, some very intense racing there throughout the whole race. What was it like from your perspective?
Thanks, Corey. It was a lot of saving fuel. The little bit that I got out there and led, um, after about 2 laps, I was like, I cannot stay here because I'm not going to have enough gas to make it. So a lot of checking up, but then it got real racy at the end, which was pretty fun. This track is it's just basically a mini super speedway now. So you got to figure out who can push you because you can't get a run by yourself. I thought I could have something for TJ at the end, but once Lizelle and Jonathan and them started battling, I just couldn't make a run.
Now let's just talk about how difficult this package is to race around here. You said that it's kind of like a super speedway kind of a package with the way that you got to run it. But how difficult was it to just try and make moves, especially because that second lane seemed to stall out very, very quickly.
Well, the car got so tight on a long run that the outside was the only thing that would work. When Lizelle was battling with me, I was just trying to be really protective of the high side, um, because I knew the bottom lane would just not have enough momentum coming up off, especially two, and you would just die out. So I just tried to protect that, and I tried to make that move on TJ around the outside, and he kind of did a good job of anticipating that and kind of took the middle lane the last couple of laps going into one, which killed my momentum. So that was the only chance I had.
All right, man. Now let's look forward towards next week. We're going to be hitting the first and only road course of the season with Watkins Glen. What's the feeling like for you heading to Watkins with a car that's arguably more suited to road course racing than the current gen of NASCAR?
I love road racing. I'm looking forward to it. Watkins Glen is a fun track. So I'm excited to hit the track next week.
All right, mate. Before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here today?
Of course, you for the broadcast, Jaron, and all the admins for putting on the league, and all the drivers that show up every week, and the family for letting me get away on Tuesdays.
All right, man. Thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on kicking off the season strong with a P2. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Watkins.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, guys, that was our second place getter here today, Kyle Kraus. Next on our list is going to be our third place getter here today. And for him, we're going to go down 10 numbers in the car number, but he's still number one in our hearts. Of course, it's the most dominant champion we've ever had, the 50, Mr. Christian Budd. Christian, you displayed your concerns last week about how this package was going to run. We did have some great intense racing, but it seemed that your fears were confirmed with the fact of, you got out the front and you just couldn't get away from everyone else.
I mean, the biggest issue probably ultimately was that we were right on that fuel number. So um, the first 40 laps I led because I wanted to try and lead the most laps tonight, which I think I got it. I probably got it. But then after that, I had to save pretty much. I don't think I didn't save fuel any other lap until the very last 3 laps.
And that is actually pretty incredible. And you also got very, very lucky there at the end to actually be on the podium with that very late race contact between Lizelle and Hernandez.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're you've run half throttle for your entire run, so when you actually go to try and make a move, the front tires are cooked, and it's really wasn't anything you could do. Unfortunately, not Jaron's fault. With this fuel mileage deal, it's an unknown car, and you can't really predict that. I think they set the laps based on what the last car or the truck did, and unfortunately, this car has a bigger fuel cell, and fuel mileage is going to be different anyway. So, but it worked out that you could basically make it exactly halfway, a little bit longer, you know. Uh, but if you were leading, like I was, I couldn't make it actually to lap 60. So then I had to drop back and just draft, and you know it just makes for not a fun race. It was not a fun race, and that's just the way it is, And these cars, you know, you didn't have to really do anything. It was very, very much like interstate driving.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, changing things up already in the season, going for Watkins Glen in the road course. So, what's the feeling like for you heading to Watkins with what is arguably a car that's more suited to road course racing than oval these days?
Yeah, no, I don't know because I haven't driven this car. This is the only times I've driven the cars has been on this Chicagoland Oval, so I haven't road raced it. Um, one of the fun things about the old car and the ARCA car and stuff like that was that they really aren't suited for road courses. So you're sliding around and things are happening. And I don't know what these are going to be like. If this is going to be kind of more like a traditional road race or what, but we're just going to have to see. Hopefully it'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be fun to drive. That's be the main thing.
Well, we can only hope. But before we let you go here tonight, man, uh, anyone that you want to give a shout out to, any plugs that you got to do as well?
Yeah, one thing I do want to say is so we finally put in a decent performance with our Smith Sim Racing Ford trucks at Bristol, and really feel like we've turned the corner on setups a little bit, kind of corrected some of the problems. So that was really really fun, kind of fun to have score a top 15 for the first time in round two, which is ridiculous that I had to wait this long to do that, but we actually had trucks that probably could have run top 10, top five if we had qualified. So really excited about that, and then working hard for Phoenix. Gets this. This is going to be the last race for me for Road to Pro this season because not going to advance to the Pro Series, but really kind of excited about that. Just feels good to run again.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Christian. Absolutely love having your opinion here, especially since you are such an experienced racer here in iRacing. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we head to Watkins.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. That was Christian Budd, our third place getter here today. And as you can hear, he was a little bit disappointed there with the way that this ran, especially with it being a fuel mileage race. But, that's the way that it does go sometimes, unfortunately. But it's time for us now to look forward towards next week. As I said, we're going to be going to Watkins Glen, which is, in my opinion, the best road course sport, NASCAR racing. Uh, and it should be a pretty exciting race. So until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys next week.